Well, Aaron Phypers just called the cops on Denise Richards, so this divorce is getting messier and messier. Blake Lively is having a meltdown because she's claiming Brian Friedman just leaked her deposition transcript, and a Real Housewife of Orange County star has been exposed. Well, we'll get into it today. I hope you're ready for it. Let's dive in.
You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in.
What's up, guys? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Hey, 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 hey. What's up, guys? Let's get it. If you have not done so yet, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit that little bell notification button down below. That way you're always getting the tea and it's always fresh and hot. It's the remix to ignition. Oh wait, we're not allowed to sing that anymore. Okay. Really quickly, I did want to give a shout out because I know you guys have been leaving reviews on Apple Podcasts. And I'm really excited and very grateful for that. So I wanted to give a shout out to Dog Mom Talk, who says, unbiased, unapologetic, and unfiltered. Zack is one of the few media sources left. Wow, am I a media source? One of the few media sources left where you can get unbiased, well-researched news stories without a political agenda tied to them. He's extremely intelligent, honest, and respectful reporter / podcaster who you can tell is genuinely a kind person as well. He works extremely hard to not only report on facts, not just rumors, and provides educated opinions on both sides of every story. Also, not bad to look at. I must get his workout routine. Oh, that's so sweet. And then we also got one from Aries listener who said, keep trying, but 1 star. Keep trying, but he's just not knowledgeable, and worse, not interesting. What? I'm not interesting. I think I'm so interesting. He has to Google things in the middle of the podcast that he should know if he expects people to tune in, such as Supreme Court versus federal court. Okay. I did not need to Google that. I was having the show is live, you guys. Like we live streamed this. So I was like, wait, I was saying Supreme Court, but I meant federal court. It was a literal brain fart moment. And then she cites another, the definition of convent versus covenant versus covenant. She spelled covenant twice. I was reading a news article and I said the word covenant when I meant to say convent. And then what was it? Covenant, convent. And then there was a third word that we threw in there that we were defining. And we're like, yeah, this is whatever. Fuck off. There's so much dead air in the middle of his podcast that I always think I'm getting a call while listening. Well, I'm sorry, Aries listener. I'm sorry you kept trying, but it didn't stick. So I'm sorry it didn't stick, but maybe try taking the stick out of your butt and you'll feel better. Okay, let's get into the tea. Just a reminder, I am doing my final live show of this activated tour this Sunday, August 10th in Los Angeles at the Miracle Theater. We have Chloe Veach from Netflix. We also have a very surprise guest. Maybe a Real Housewives of New Jersey housewife, maybe an OG, not Caroline Manzo. But we do have a very special guest that will be joining us. I'm trying to get her she's going to be at the show, but I'm trying to get her to come on stage. And I think I will be able to convince her. She's a lot of fun. You love her. She's been on this podcast before. Always a hoot. But yeah, come on, get your tickets. There's a link in the description below at the Miracle Theater this Sunday, August 10th in Los Angeles. It's our finale show, our grand finale. Going to try to bring out all of my friends to come and have a fun time. So if you're available this Sunday, get your tickets now. You can use code Chloe, 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 and you'll get 25% off. It's your last chance to save and score tickets. Use code Chloe. Oh, thank you. Boom. There we go. Thank you, Danny. She said, is your mic off? There's a slight echo and it's not like it normally. Yes. Sorry. Thank you for that clarification. I don't know why the mic wasn't connected, but yeah, use code Chloe and get your tickets right now for our final show. I just posted it in the live chat, and there's also
Links in the description below. All right, guys, let's get into, do we want to start with Denise, Blake, or Real Housewives of Orange County? Thank you, guys. I apologize. Also, just so you know, obviously this is the live stream, but when the show is uploaded to Spotify or to Apple, the kinks are edited out. So you'll get the full clean audio. You won't have that first 5 minutes of me using the laptop mic. Sarah says she's already subscribed. Boom. Now a review about your mic. Oh, yeah, that's going to be the next one. He never has his mic plugged in. That's what they look like when they're sitting on their couch in their mom's basement. They're like, you know. Sorry, that's ex-patriarch. All right. Usually Blake, but let's start with Denise. Okay, let's start with Denise. So Denise, this is... I was taping Juicy Scoop yesterday with Heather McDonald, which, by the way, it's out right now. You guys can tune into a fun 90-minute episode of Juicy Scoop with me and Heather. We get into a whole bunch of stuff. She educates me on something, or not something like that. What is it? And Just Like That, the Sex and the City reboot. She educates me on that. We talk about Housewives. We talk about Dorit's book Unburdened, which has come in. We talk about Erica and Blake and all that fun stuff. But so, and as we were wrapping, there was breaking news that Denise Richards was talking to the police because the cops were called to her Calabasas home because I guess Aaron called and reported her, and he claimed that she broke into the house and she was fighting with his parents and she threw mail at them and she came to steal the dog. The cops had to be called because obviously that would put her in violation of the restraining order that she has filed against him. However, she, I guess, waited until he left the house and then decided to go because she wanted to get the dog. And I don't know what conversation they were having or what the situation was about the dog or why he had the dog or why she needed to get the dog, but she ended up showing up. She waited until he left so that she was not in any direct communication or have any direct contact with him so that she didn't violate the temporary restraining order, the TRO. And then she went into the house. I guess she went in through the back door. So that's what they're claiming. Well, I'm sure Aaron did that a few times. But and so went in through the back door. She went to go get the dog. And then I would think she probably got into some sort of argument with the parents. They were probably like, you shouldn't be here. You did the restraining order. You shouldn't be in this. And, blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, oh, yeah, really? Well, I'm here for my dog. And then they were probably throwing words back and forth. And they had some sort of, and I'm sure they called Aaron. They're like, Aaron, she's here. She's outside. We're going to call the cops. Aaron's like, I'm going to call the cops and I'm going to call TMZ because conveniently the TMZ reporters happen to get photos unless somebody sent it, because that does happen, or neighbors will see it and then they'll sell it to TMZ. That does happen. But somebody knew that Denise Richards was there and somebody knew that the cops, I don't know, something happened. And I kind of feel like Aaron and his family ended up leaking this because then there are all these details about oh, she came, they're trying to position her as erratic and out of her mind. I don't believe that she is. I believe he is the problem here. I'm sure they're both toxic. When he's she's anorexic and she has a drinking problem, I'm sure she does. I'm sure he has her as, a bag of nerves, just constantly stressed and anxious about what he's going to do next. So, and obviously when you have his parents and his brother that are there, they're going to tell whatever story they want to tell with, oh, I'm so innocent. Oh, I didn't do anything. It was completely unprovoked. They're of course going to lie to protect him naturally. But yeah, no. Copper says subpoena the dog. Conveniently, TMZ got the photos. Yeah, not only the photos, but also all the details of what she did. She threw mail at. How dare you throw mail at his brother in the home that she pays for? Because I believe there was a Malibu home and a Calabasas home. And it looks like this was the Calabasas home that they were at. And the parents, for whatever reason, are living there and still living there. And I guess according to the reality show, he had moved the parents in and it was supposed to be very temporary. And then the parents ended up just staying there. And, Aaron Phypers' parents are the parasite in Brandi Glanville's face and they just won't leave. That's where we're at. So Denise was his bank. Yeah, that's where all his money was coming from. That's why he's claiming that, they had to, that he needs spousal support because without her providing for him, what is he going to do? How is he going to pay for his life? I agree. He is a jerk, Felicia. I'm with you. Aaron's a jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. See, who says my show isn't entertaining? Or what? The dog could be a big deal there too. Yeah, I'm sure that, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, and I never watched her show because let's be honest, it was fucking boring. But like, I'm sure that she probably had that dog beforehand. I don't think they got these dogs together. She seems like a dog lady, right? Like she likes dogs and big dogs, and I'm sure she has a lot of dogs and a lot of dog shit all over the place. So I don't know. Why can women ask for spousal support but not men? I don't think it's a matter of men not being able to ask for not child support, but being able to ask for spousal support. But I think in this case, he definitely appears to be a grifter. Shelby says equal genders in California. Shelby, it's 2025. Don't you know gender is just a construct? Gender doesn't exist anymore. Gender doesn't exist unless you want to be trans, and then your gender exists, and then you have a gender that matters. I don't know. I don't make up the rules. You know, Threads does. Elena says, I came in late. Someone said Zack wasn't entertaining. Yeah, they left me a podcast review and they said that I wasn't entertaining. Aaron is healthy. He can work. That's a very good point, Felicia. I agree. He can work. But I do understand Shelby's point about like, why is it that like Lisa Hochstein can like fight Lenny to get all this money because she deserves it because she's the wife, but then but also Aaron's a terrible person. Let's like not even try to entertain that. I think he's a total like just jerk that nobody cares for or needs to hear anymore from. That's where we at. That's where it's at, yo. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Love your show. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Please leave me an Apple Podcast review and let other people know that you love my show because it's actually very entertaining. I dance, I twerk, I sing, I go on tangents. MCH High Life says, Zack, like you said yesterday, Real Houses of Beverly Hills is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, especially with Brandy. I hate how the girls forced Denise to confess, but let Kyle say nothing for 2 seasons. Well, think about that, though. That whole era of Housewives with Denise, everybody was like, be honest, because no one knew what was really happening, but they just thought she was lying about a lesbian affair with Brandy. Everyone's like, why are you lying? Like, why shouldn't you talk about these things? Why shouldn't you? Blah, 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 blah. Right. And they held Denise to the fire because she was hiding something from her life. And then obviously the audience turned on all of them, and the audience was like pissed at them and upset with them and was like, you can't do that. You can't bully people into being a lesbian. And they're just like, I don't care if she's munching on Brandy. Like, nobody cares. Just be honest with it. Be like, yeah, brandy tastes delicious, like a fresh plate of sashimi, but like the fresh kind. Just a little wasabi on the side. Mwah, magnifique. However, that wasn't the reaction. And so once the audience was like, no boundaries and don't out somebody, your sexuality is important, blah, 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 then everybody was like, oh, I think that's when the women were like, oh, well, I guess we get to hide things. We get to do bravo, 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 and the audience will protect us. And that wasn't the case. People were mad that Kyle, was then munching on Morgan. Brandy tastes like Nair. Ew. Yeah, Brandy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but Nair smells like rotten eggs. You don't want to be like, I taste like Nair. Tiwa Tambo says, ew, Zach. Kenzie says, loved you on Juicy Scoop. Hey, the McDonald's. The juice, the scoop. Dragonfly says, I never liked Denise and her happy ending story. Oh, I forgot about the happy ending story. April says, now it's sad that Brandy is putting Nair on her face that has parasites. I don't think she has a parasite. I think Brandy is a little delulu. I think she totally made up. Somebody in the live chat was like, I'm a nurse and this happens. And people like imagine that they have parasites and it's a real condition that people have where they think that there's a parasite. Because nobody, not even Terry Dubrow, was able to find the parasite. So I don't know. That's kind of weird. And then she's like, in the parasite, like it moves through her face. I don't know. Something about it is crazy. Did you talk about Tamara and her doubling down on her autism? She doubled down on it. Did she really double down on having autism? There was a video that I posted to my story of this woman. I mean, I guess she published it publicly on her Instagram. But she talks, I don't know. I don't want to get into the Tamara and the autism stuff again. I said everything I had to say. I stand by everything I had to say. I thought that there was some sort of remorse or some sort of growth or evolution from her. What did she say now? I don't understand her. Yeah, I do think that could hypnosis help with the parasite? Oh, you think hypnotizing the parasite will make it go away? Okay, let's hypnotize the parasite so that it can crawl out of her mouth. Could you imagine if there really is a parasite out of there and then like one day they like pull it out and it's like this gross giant thing? That's crazy. I don't know. Danielle says a parasite wouldn't just focus in one area of your face like that. They move and multiply. That's what I thought. I don't think that she has a parasite. I think she has Munchausen is what she has. All right, let's take a quick break to shout out this week's sponsors, starting with the Wellness Company. Ever feel like your mind is racing, your mood dipping, or stress is stealing your clarity? You're not alone, and your only options are not prescriptions with side effects. Introducing MindLift from the Wellness Company, a doctor-formulated nutraceutical designed to restore calm, clarity, and emotional balance. This unique blend features low-dose lithium orotate to gently uplift your mood and support healthy cognition. Powerful adaptogens like ashwagandha root help your body manage stress by supporting adrenal function and regulating cortisol levels. It also includes calming GABA and key amino acids to ease anxious feelings and support neurotransmitter production. DHA from algae rounds out the formula, protecting your brain cells and promoting smooth communication between neurons. Maybe it's time to reset your mind naturally. Head to twc.health/nofilter and use code NOFILTER to get 15% off plus free shipping. Again, that's twc.health/nofilter and use code NOFILTER for 15% off. Take control of your mental wellness with MindLift today. Is anybody else bummed that summer is coming to a close? I feel you, but I also kind of feel like this is a great time to kind of refresh our space, right? And anticipate the new fall vibes that are coming and the style that we want to show off at home. Am I right? As summer winds down, get back into a routine that you love with Wayfair. From bedding and linens to storage solutions for every room in the house, Wayfair's your one-stop shop. Refresh your workspace with desks, bookcases, and office chairs for way less, or make weeknight dinners a thing again with quality cookware that makes mealtime a breeze. Listen, I just had friends over last night. We were doing a game night. It was fun, but I was kind of like, ooh, I need to zhuzh up the space a little bit. I need to get some more accessories for the living room, and I need a little more cookware, or at least, some new charcuterie boards. Wayfair's huge selection of items makes it easy to find exactly what you're looking for. It's super convenient. They have everything that my home could need this season. There's something for every style and every home, no matter your space or budget. Wayfair makes it easy to tackle your home goods with endless inspiration for every space and budget. Get organized, refreshed, and back to a routine for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now and shop all things home. That's Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Are you sick of drinking your calories or of waking up hungover? Having some drinks can be fun, but I'm glad that I found an alternative that lets me feel great in the moment and the next morning, and that's my out-of-office gummies from Soul. Soul is a wellness brand that believes feeling good should be easy. Soul specializes in delicious hemp-derived THC and CBD products designed to boost your mood and help you unwind. Their best-selling out-of-office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance creativity and relaxation. The out-of-office gummies come in 4 different strains, so you can pick the dose that is perfect for your vibe. Choose from a gentle microdose, a perfect buzz, a noticeable high, or a fully lit experience. With wellness at the forefront, you can feel good about what you're putting in your body because all of Soul's products are made from organically farmed, USA grown hemp and are vegan, gluten-free, and low in sugar. Bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Soul today. Right now, Soul is offering my audience, that's you, 30% off your entire order. Go to getsoul.com and use the code NOFILTER. That's GetSoul, GETSOUL. Getsoul.com, promo code NOFILTER for 30% off. All right, let's get back to it. So we talked about Denise and Brandy, all the Real Houses of Beverly Hills stuff. Hello from the other side. Hi, Elizabeth. Let's talk about Blake Lively because she is having a meltdown. Let me just show you all of my goodness. The number of things that she's just throwing left and right, first of all, let's not forget her amended complaint, right? It's literally just all of these crazy redactions that really don't give us much detail. Her new evidence that was submitted was like, oh, I took this photo on my Instagram. I was in New York. Jed Wallace should know that I live in New York. Duh. Dumb. And then it's funny. The number of things that she is filing on the docket is literally nonstop. I'm just like, lady, can you chill? but it's because, I mean, clearly when you don't have any actual evidence, when you don't have anything concrete, you just start pounding the docket. Remember when I had Ask Two Lawyers on, which, by the way, Ask Two Lawyers are going to be in my show here live in Los Angeles this Sunday. We have Ask Two Lawyers, Spill Sesh, Chloe Veach, Jacqueline Larita from Real Housewives of New Jersey. It's going to be a fun show this Sunday, so be sure to get your tickets. But remember Ask Two Lawyers, when I had them on the show previously, they were talking about how when you have the evidence, you pound the evidence. When you have the law, you pound the law. And when you have nothing, you pound the table. And as of right now, we know that Blake is kind of just pounding. She more than pounded the table. She's pounding the docket every day. It's like another one, another sanctions. You get a subpoena. You get a subpoena. You don't get a subpoena. Okay, let's withdraw it. Let's take it back. Whoa, 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 whoa. Rewind. Control Alt Delete. Control Alt Delete. Okay, let's. If it's not subpoenas, it's sanctions. Now she wants to sanction Brian Friedman, and she says that Brian Friedman deserves to be sanctioned because he leaked her deposition. It's like, are you kidding me? Lady, if your deposition leaked, I would be reading it right now, live on the internet, like a romance novel, like your text messages, your yummy and flirty text messages, your ball buster, never with teeth text messages. Those. I would be reading it like a story time book, putting everybody to sleep, like a bedtime story, except it's not a bedtime story. It would be waking everybody up. We'd be like, yeah. I'm assuming the deposition didn't go that well. She had 8 attorneys. We now know that Baldoni was there, Jamie Heath was there, Sarowitz was there, Jennifer Abel was there, Melissa Nathan was there. They were all present for Blake's deposition. They each had their attorneys, but she showed up with all 8 of her attorneys. Mamma mia, mamma mia. Elizabeth says Blake is dumb, narcissistic, and never stops. Can't she and Ryan just give it up and go away? False claims, the shit you two put other people through is, yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It should all be public. At some point, I believe it will be. I don't know why it's not public. They did file it. Well, so what happened was it was the letter that we read from Fritz the other week. I have lost all the documents because there have been so many of them. But they're all here on my computer somewhere, but to go through each one and find out what's what, like I need to organize everything. But every day it's like another one, another one, another one. Thank you. Another one. Thank you. Another one. Thank you. So that's kind of where we're at. But to recap it, Fritz had filed and said that, Blake Lively claims that her own the smear campaign came from knowledge of her own. So the only evidence she has of the smear campaign, I guess, exists somewhere in her brain. So I don't know. I guess she's going to try and make them subpoena her brain so that they can pull and extract the evidence out of it. It's, her gut feelings, really. But so anyway, Blake is now saying that because they said that and because they published a quote from her deposition and then referenced the deposition as one of the exhibits, even though it was redacted, even though we couldn't see it, as Elsrich says it, he gave us a crumb of a crumb, and Blake is now freaking out about that because she's saying that they're leaking her deposition and that they filed her deposition, even though, again, it's redacted and sealed. So we cannot see the transcript. Yes, it's technically on the docket, the transcript of her deposition, but we cannot see it. We have no access to it. Crystal said her document filled in the blanks of what Justin's document was missing. Say what? Which document are you referring to? The lyrics. Don't you know that you're toxic? We won't see Blake because of her. We won't see Blake's because of her protection order, but we'll get to see Justin's when it happens. Does the protective order protect her deposition, though? I believe we will get bits of her deposition, and I imagine there will be clips of it that'll be played at trial that we will get. So I'm not entirely sure that we won't be seeing any of her. Is that part of her attorney's eyes only protection? I don't know if that's true. Maybe it is. I don't know. Again, there have been so many filings. Keeping up with everything. I would suggest going and watching Lauren 90 on the Court of Random Opinion because she literally does a video, goes live, and breaks it down every single time. I just love watching control freaks lose it. It's so entertaining. Yeah, she's literally freaking out. They're like, sanctions. I'm like, can you shut up? Like, if anything, you know, it's probably going to piss the judge off at some point with her constant file. Because think about it, every time there's something filed on the docket and they need the judge to answer a motion to compel, a motion for sanctions, a motion for this, a motion for that, a motion to, you know, get a bikini wax. I don't know. Every time she has to file something new and remove this and do that and blah blah. Like she's just always throwing a tantrum. And listen, again, you wouldn't be worried about. Here's the thing: Blake's doing a number of different things, and Friedman and Fritz and Baldoni's team, the Wayfair parties, they're not slapping her with sanctions and all of this stuff. Like, yeah, they'll be a little shady towards her and drag her a little bit, but they're not doing all of these crazy theatrics on the docket the way that she is. I think the same way Friedman burned out Lyman early on, I think Blake's team is going to do that next. They just don't stop. And it's probably coming from her. I'm pretty sure she's manic behind the scenes and she's like, and she's freaking out on them and they're doing everything that they can to just appease her. I'm pretty sure they're now like, well, shit, now we know what it was like working on the set of It Ends With Us. They're feeling like Justin Baldoni, having to deal with all her crazy demands because we've known that she's like this. We've heard these rumors from the Gossip Girl days that she's just not an easy to work with person. She needs authorship over everything she does. She needs control over everything she does. And she's a diva. As we know, Ryan Reynolds is a diva as well. Yes, Queen. Ryan Reynolds, like, yes. But I'm pretty sure the two of them are driving their attorneys nuts. That's why they need 8 attorneys there because people get burned out with them. And then here's this. Look at, I guess their attorneys' fees were, I don't know if I would say leaked, but they were included in a filing, I think back in like February. And so this Don't F with Justice on X came out and posted this. And they say, I found the Manit billing hour rates in a random court filing from January. I wonder what the total bill for the subpoenas alone has been. Do they charge extra for weekend rates when the subpoenas were withdrawn? Look at Manit's current range of hourly billing rates, which are charged the same for both bankruptcy and non-bankruptcy clients, are as follows. So the partners, their billable hours are $1,100 to $2,000 per hour. Counsel is $795 to $1,945, so just under $800 to just under $2,000 for counsel. Associates are $685 to $1,100 per hour. Staff attorneys are $505 to $930 per hour. Paralegals and specialists range from $215 to $760 per hour, and then consultants can range from $355 to $1,625 per hour. That's crazy. And then she had 8 attorneys that came to the deposition alone. The deposition alone was 7 hours, not including breaks, right? Is it 7 consecutive hours or 7 hour? Maybe it does include breaks or doesn't. I don't know. I think the breaks aren't included, but you at least have 7 hours of deposition. That was probably like a 10-hour day. You know, if you think about it, I'm pretty sure they had some small breaks in between. I'm sure they had like a long lunch break, maybe a dinner break. I don't know. If there are any attorneys or paralegals or partners in the live chat, let me know how that works. 8 hours with a 1-hour break. Okay, so it's 8 hours total because it's 7 hours of deposition and 1 hour. Got it. Thank you, Elena. Michelle said, so she paid more for a day with those attorneys than most people make in a year. Yeah, let's think about it. Well, let's just say they were all associates, right? We'll go with the lowest number here. Okay. We'll say half were associates and half were staff attorneys. Or I'm sure they'd be consultants. I don't know. They were all attorneys. So we're just going to go with, the staff. We'll go with the associates fee, which is on the lower end range, which I'm pretty sure they were not all on the lower end range, but just, for just to play for funsies, 685 times 8, because we had 8 attorneys on site, is 5,480. Okay. Now that's 1 hour for each of them times 8, because we were there for 8 hours. She paid over and this is the low end, the lower range. This is the lowest possible range of what she potentially paid. Over 40 grand. Just even if they were all at the associate level and they were all at the 685 rate, that's insane. She paid over 40 grand just for her deposition. Just for her deposition. Like out the gate, just at least a minimum of 40 grand. That's insane. That is insane. I'm pretty sure there were, people that were at the partner, at least one, or counsel, associates, staff attorneys. I'm sure it all ranged. I'm sure there may have been, a paralegal or some sort of specialist there as well, some sort of consultant. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a range of these things. But even if we just took the standard associate's rate at 685, which is the lowest possible one, Cat's Meow says there's no way low level associates when it was high level plus paralegals plus prep and post hours. Yeah, the prepping hours. Yeah. But I was just saying associates just to give people a more conservative number, right? If let's say it was all counsel. We'll go with the counsel level and we'll say maybe 2 partners, okay? So if she showed up with 8 attorneys and we'll go with the 795, let's say what 6 of them. So 6, let's say she had 6 counsel there. 6 people at the counsel rate on the lower level. That's 38,000. And then let's say we had 2 partners also at the lower range. I mean, granted, they're going to have the highest of the highest there because this is Blake Lively's deposition in this huge case. Oh my god. And then if they had just one partner there, that's 1120 per hour times 8 hours. One partner. Wait, that's crazy. That's 1100 times 8 hours. That alone is 9,000. If they had just one partner that charged the lowest possible rate for a partner. That's crazy. Of course, you need 8 attorneys to defend it. Like this is just one day, you guys. Just the deposition day. And like we mentioned before, that doesn't include the prep hours because they have to prep, right? How many times did they have to rehearse these depositions? How many times did they have to grill her? Get out the TI calculator. Yeah, I don't do math. I do calculators. We know this. And her PR team, her managers, her business managers, her housing team, her security, her drivers, her nannies, her chefs, her trainers, they're spending millions and millions and millions every month. Yeah. I mean, security alone is not cheap. The drivers, well, managers, you typically get paid a percentage of your income. PR teams, you typically pay a monthly retainer. And that could be like 5 to 10 grand per month. I'm sure Leslie, what is Leslie? What is it? Vision PR. Vision PR monthly retain. See, this is where people are gonna get mad. They're gonna be like, look at he had to Google something during the show. Remember they left that in the review? He had to Google something during the show. Yeah, because it was a piece of information. I don't know how much Vision PR, Leslie Sloan's company charges. Okay. It says large corporations for more extensive campaign, those requiring specialized expertise can cost upwards of 20 to 50,000 per month. Small to mid-sized businesses retainers fall between. Yeah, like I said, I went a little higher because we're in Los Angeles and they charge like a minimum. I feel like monthly retainers here in LA start at like 5,000. The internet says it's 2 to 10,000, but yeah, it starts at like 5,000 for a monthly retainer just to have a publicist. Yeah, they're spending money, all because she said she felt uncomfortable. Jane says she's at least 25 mil in so far. She must be. Yeah, she must be. Like it's crazy because think about it. This started back in what last September, August with Van Zandt. They thought they were so smart. That's why she was paying them what 11 to 2,100 per hour so that they can do the Van Zandt shady deals. Whew. Money. Money, money, money. And we're over here struggling to pay our bills. She doesn't care. Felt uncomfortable with her bodyguard standing next to her. Isn't that crazy? Wasn't that one of the other allegations that something happened in her driver's car? It's like, don't ever be alone with that man. It's insane. The lawyers get 33 and a half as well. Oh, yeah. 33 and a third as well. Do they? They don't get a cut of it. That's only if you have a contingency lawyer. You get a cut of a settlement. Maybe they do. You know what? You're right. I think they no, but I don't know. Yeah, her body was there all the time. Yeah, that's what's crazy. Tony AB says Blake Lively should put her money towards something meaningful, like donating to Facebook scam victims or helping the girls who just lost their parents to a tragic murder. You would think that there are plenty of other causes. Remember Einstein's quotes, never memorize something that you can look up. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, only contingency lawyers. Yeah, like Tom Girardi was a contingency lawyer. He would take on these big cases, but he would take 40% of that. So then these attorneys, I assume, just get their hours and their fees and their costs. We'll see. Yeah, they'll write it off on their taxes. I'm sure they'll find something to do with it. That Cat says the driver bodyguard thing. Oh, the driver bodyguard thing has really been brought up again. Hasn't really been brought up again. No, because it's like how what more? I mean, unless the driver is willing to testify, and I don't know if he is. Seems like all of these people that they claim were, privy to all of what was going on. And I'm telling you right now that we were thinking that Isabella Ferrer and Jenny Slate, who have completely vanished, now that originally we thought they were the two actresses that were referenced that were feeling uncomfortable on set. And now we're starting to think maybe one of those actresses that felt uncomfortable on set was Robin, Blake Lively's sister, who had a small role in the show. So technically she was on set. Technically she was an actress that was present. I don't know. I think Robin's going to be a big part of this lawsuit or this trial. She's gonna have to testify. They will all testify, guys. Get ready for that telenovela. Yeah, remember when Amber Heard's people did it, and she had a bodyguard, and he had a bodyguard, and it was crazy, 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 crazy. I'm guessing she lied about the driver. I mean, there are a number of things. It was Leanne Newton on X. She was pointing out the inconsistencies um, in Blake's telling of the birthing scene, where in the version that she has in New York and the version that she has in Texas with Jed Wallace, two different versions. Whereas in the Texas version, she says that she was completely nude during the birthing scene. And Leanne pointed out that she can, of course, lie about that because Jed Wallace wasn't physically there. He doesn't know what actually happened. So she can put in her filing that she was completely nude during that scene and nobody can contradict that, right? Whereas, because none of the Wayfair parties are part of the Jed Wallace case in Texas. Whereas in New York, she says, oh, well, she had a small piece of fabric that was covering her. But again, she also had a fake belly on and a hospital gown. And according to Wayfair, they're claiming she had on black briefs, which I don't know why she would need to be entirely nude. And also, it's not like anybody dressed her. It's not like there was she literally would have gone on to set on her own with whatever she wanted to wear at that point. It's like they made her strip. Elena says black shorts are a small piece of fabric. Well, she says a small piece of fabric and that there was like a covering of the cooch. But also, I don't know why she would need to only cover the cooch. I don't understand. It's very confusing to me. Robin will try to save her family and fortune. She will lie. I'm not doubting that Robin would lie. Like, oh my God, he told her that her outfit looked sexy and he did it right in front of me. He smelled her and told her that she smelled good. When we saw the footage and he said, your spray tan smells good. He says, it smells good because Blake was like, I'm sorry if my spray tan smells. And he was like, it's okay. It smells good. Anybody that's ever gotten a spray tan knows that they smell. Don says, so Blake filed for SH, yet every Monday and Wednesday we get filings on the smear campaign issues, and she makes up her mind every week. Yeah. Julie says, so it's one thing that she didn't have so it's the one thing she didn't have a day in. Robin will definitely lie. Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubting that. He lingered too long during a kissing scene. Yeah, when you actually hear these things, it's so insane. It's preposterous. There was a photo of Justin Baldoni, Blake, and Robin on the set of It Ends With Us, and Justin was standing back, and it looked as if Blake and Robin were in control in the photos. I'm sure they were. From what we've heard, it seems they absolutely took control of the film. Wasn't she in charge of her wardrobe? Yep. So she would have control over what she had on in the birthing scene. Exactly. Remember, that's why everybody hated it because her outfits were so fucking ugly. all her 14 jeans on and all the coats and the beanies to just really tie the look together. It was insane. Okay, well that's our Wayfair Blake Lively versus Baldoni Ryan Reynolds update slash drama. She's freaking out because she's claiming that they leaked her deposition, even though it was under seal and the quotes were redacted from the letter from Fritz. But, she's going to have her own little Fritz every time there's something new. She's going to throw another tantrum. Good for her. Michelle says, I hope they called the bodyguard to the stand and asked him why he never stepped in if something actually happened. Great point. You would think that's his job is to protect, do you see how everybody in the live chat right now is like, what about this? And what about that? And why didn't this happen? And why didn't, hello? Thank you. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Heard they have 3 lined up, Robin and 2 others that complained. Well, we know Jenny Slate complained about the apartment. The apartment wasn't good enough. It was only 15,000. What was it? 15,000 for the deposit that she didn't want to lose. So Wayfair covered it for her and got her a new apartment. That was one of Jenny Slade's complaints. It's just crazy. And then it's crazy. Remember when Dawn and I read the fake HR complaints that were being circulated by wackadoodle Dr. Leslie? Blake grabbed the junk of Henry Golding unscripted. Isn't that SH? They said that he consented to that he approved of that. He was okay with that. Listen, I don't bet she took the money though. Mm-hmm. 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 Kenzie says Jenny Slate shut her mouth real quick when that came out. Yeah. They really just roaches when the lights come on, just scattered and we're gone. Let them keep talking. They buried themselves more and more every time. Love you and your legs, Zachy. Thank you. Thank you. Teresa Bruce. What happened to Dr. Dobson? She's odd. What happened to her brain? I couldn't tell you. Don't know. She's a doctor. Good for her. I don't know what happened to her. Something. She fell out of a coconut tree or something. All right. Let's pivot over. So I don't know how many of you guys are watching Real Houses of Orange County. I'm not. Hi, Bushwords. I don't know how many are. But one thing I don't like. I'll kind of dip into it just to kind of casually, passively watch. I don't watch Bravo as much anymore, but I casually, passively will dip in and out. And so on a weekend, I'll catch up on the latest episodes or whatever. I watched The Valley, the finale, I thought was good. I wasn't watching it week after week. There were a couple of episodes that I missed, but you can skip a couple of episodes and you just watch the 30-second recap at the top of the episode and you're fully caught up for the most part. And then with all the clips that are on social media, you kind of know what's going on all the time. But so whatever. Real Houses of Orange County is airing. They have the new housewife that came last season, Katie. And I just want to first preface by saying this. One, I'm not really actively watching this season outside of clips and what I'm hearing. Okay. I just want to first say that. Two, Katie seems like a very nice lady. I've chatted with her in the past. We've talked about her potentially coming last season, not recently, but we've chatted about her potentially coming on No Filter. Seems like a lovely lady. I met her. There was a Bravo event that was happening in West Hollywood at EPLP. They had a Bravo. What was it? A Bravo Bazaar. It was some brunch thing. You can come and they have all these fun photo ops. You can buy merch and you do a Bravo brunch. That was happening in West Hollywood. I met Katie there in person. We also have a mutual friend who I adore. Now, that said, I know that this season heavily surrounds Katie and Katie being a liar and she doesn't tell the truth. And I know Emily at the reunion last season, was very you don't tell the truth and you're not honest and all of these things, right? Got it. So it appears that she has a complicated relationship with the truth. And she seems to be getting called out about it a lot this season because now we find out that she's talking to bloggers and she's, trying to convince bloggers to take her side on things, or she's at least being nice to them and directing people and on what to do to try and plant little seeds and ideas. Now, as I said on Juicy Scoop, all the women do it. All the women, for the most part, I would say 98% of housewives all talk to bloggers or content creators or Instagrammers or TikTokers. They do it to kind of influence you and to try and get you on their side. And they want to just plant little nuggets and seeds. And then you're kind of their little army online, right? They've tried to do it to me a number of times. I've lightly fell for it a couple of times, in the past, not too much, though. I, for the most part, will still always say my own piece and have my own opinion. And that's kind of what I'm about to do right now with this Katie stuff, because I saw this clip on Page Six, on the Page Six podcast. Katie Janela went on it. And for starters, there was this video. It was like it was Gretchen Rossi, who was a former housewife that came back this season. And then we have Jen. Jennifer is the new housewife that joined a couple seasons ago. People really like Jen, right? And so the two of them ended up doing some karate. They were at the gym and they said, you know, when we're ready to fight a housewife or take a housewife down or something. And they were doing like karate moves, like pew, pew, like they were doing like, you know, some sort of karate moves at the gym. And they were like karate chopping the bag, the punching bag. They were doing that and then kicking it. And they're like, yeah, like we got each other's backs. We're taking down the housewives. And so if you're watching the show, it was very obvious that they were likely talking about Tamra Judge, who on the show, one of the other housewives, they happened to be actively fighting with on the show. Okay. So suddenly there's this narrative that because they were doing karate chop moves, that, oh, they must be talking about Katie. Which, let me remind everybody, if you're watching the show or at least kind of following what's happening currently on the show, they're really Katie's only two friends on the show because everybody else thinks Katie's a liar. So Katie only has Jen and Gretchen that are in her core. So why would Jen and Gretchen then go and make a video about beating up Katie, karate chopping Katie? Like, it just didn't make any sense. It was obvious that in the show right now, they're fighting with Tamra Judge. So it's obvious that they're probably talking about Tamra Judge, right? Like, that just contextually makes the most sense. Well, somehow this narrative started getting spun online that the video was actually about Katie because Katie is Asian. So because Katie happens to be Asian and they were doing the karate chop moves in the video, that they must be trolling Katie, and then now suddenly they're racist. And that's kind of the thing that goes around. Gretchen and I believe Jen have said that the video was absolutely not about Katie. It was about Tamra. And the second that that narrative started to come out, they immediately deleted the video. And to my understanding, apologized to Katie. And we're like, that was absolutely not the case. Like, we didn't, like, that's not what we weren't. This wasn't about you. Okay. Well, that's just to catch you up to speed. Okay. Because then Katie goes and does the Page Six podcast. I didn't care about this. I didn't care to talk about it. I wasn't going to address it. However, what I don't like is when a housewife tries to manipulate the audience. Okay. I don't like when a housewife tries to convince you or plant fake seeds, especially if it's going to be some sort of victim narrative. All right. We're going to watch the clip. It's a minute and a half. We're going to watch this interview and then we're going to point out all of the PR strategy, because I actually just found out that Katie has hired a crisis PR team. And I can also confirm to you that not only does she have a PR team with her right now trying to help her navigate her image, because apparently this is not going to be a good season for her, and there's more that comes out about her inconsistencies and lies this season, but she's also still currently talking to bloggers and content creators. She's still in people's DMs. And I think she's still trying to push forward this victim narrative, specifically about this interview that I'm about to play for you on Page Six. Okay. Because it's an interesting one. This is what got me fired up and why I decided to talk about it.
Talking a little bit before, it is kind of, I'm sure, comforting to know, even though your cast is not that supportive of you right now, a lot of social media is.
Yeah.
And I feel that maybe almost was a shock to some of
Me?
the cast, or to you. I'm sure everyone's like, wait, what is happening now?
I know.
How is that feeling? And do you think that could maybe make any of the ladies, or have they reached out to you at all in any sense?
I'm very grateful for it. I have gotten one text message, well, two actually, from some ladies that recently posted a video that is very inappropriate. And I got a message with warm regards. And it's very odd to me.
One of your castmates posted a video on it?
Yes, there's a very inappropriate video going around where two girls are pretending to fight, squinting their eyes and making Asian faces to Asian sounds.
Oh.
And it's very hurtful and very inappropriate. And it's 2025. And I think we should read the room.
Okay. I have not seen this video.
It was quickly taken down. It was up for a few hours, but
Wow.
yeah.
And you had to reach out to them to be like, what the hell is this?
I did not know.
Oh, they didn't. Okay. Oh
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
I am so
that
sorry.
you
Well,
even
you
had to
know,
see
I
that.
feel like throughout the season, it's brought me back to feeling like how I felt growing up a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm the only, right? I'm the
Right.
very first Asian American on Orange County. I'm the
Yeah.
very first Korean adoptee. And so
Right.
being singled out from this cast, it's all too familiar, all the feelings.
Okay, let's talk about it. Now, when you're watching this video, it's very clear that Evan and Danny, the hosts of virtual reality, had no idea that this video existed. Katie herself volunteers this information. Not only that, but then when they tell her that they didn't even know the video existed, she's like, yeah. And then she goes into the backstory of how she's, it reminds her of when she was young and she was bullied and she's the first Asian, which I don't think she is is she the first Asian housewife on OC? I thought there may have been another one, but I may have been mistaken. But they also had Noella. Like they've had other women of color that have been on the show prior that haven't, gone the distance, whatever. But like the second you start to pull out that card and be like, oh, the other women don't like me, and then I also happen to be Asian, and you're trying to put those pieces together. The women don't like you because they're finding inconsistencies in your story. The women don't like you because they believe that you're a liar. They believe that you're manipulative. They believe that you have a complicated relationship with the truth. I didn't care to talk about this, but when I see you go on page 6 and bring up this video that one, Gretchen and Jen had already apologized for and had removed. Page 6 did not ask you about this video. They had no intention of talking about this because you can tell they were completely shocked and blindsided that this thing had even happened. Dr. Tiffany Moon was on Real Housewives of Dallas, not OC. So to me, I'm just like, it's very manipulative, and you're trying to position yourself as a victim here. And I'm not going to buy the victim narrative. I was kind of willing to hear you out when you were like, they're all ganging up on me because they all think I'm a liar. But now I'm starting to see through it. You hired a crisis PR firm. You're planting stories. You're in bloggers' ears. That is still happening. Okay. I know of more than one blogger person online that has DM'd with Katie recently. More than one. Okay. So I can tell you right now, she's still doing this shit and she's trying to manipulate the audience. And that I don't like. That to me is fake and phony and disingenuous. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I met her. She seemed like a very nice lady. And now I'm hearing that there's a lot more to come this season. And it's not going to be pretty for her. And so I think what happened is she hired a crisis PR team to help, put together a strategy so that she could win the audience over, so that they could love her and defend her, so that when the other women start coming at her throughout the rest of the season, they're going to be loyal to her. But hello, you have no allies left on this show. You've burned all your bridges. And then Jen was one of your last real friends on this show. And I didn't think you had a problem with Gretchen, but now you're going to throw them under the bus and accuse them of being racist, and or not accuse it directly, but insinuate and imply. Right? That's what they like to do. They like to imply these things, right? You put that implication out there. I don't like it. I don't like it. How many? More than one? More than one. I'll just tell you that. More than one. And I've started to see some of them, and then they started posting things, stop Asian hate. Like, trust me. Trust me. This is very deliberate and it's very intentional. You would think Jed Wallace was working on this case because the way Blake Lively describes him and, crisis PR. I don't like when people do that. I don't like when here's the thing. When you're a housewife and you have to take the heat for a season, lay down. Take the beating, lay low. Don't go on social media. Don't DM bloggers. Don't leak things to the press. Let it play out. Look at Lisa Rinna. Completely ruined her relationship with the audience because of the whole Aspen thing on Beverly Hills. Remember, she kept talking about it and posting about it, and like she wouldn't let it go. And then eventually the audience got fatigued with her. Katie this is going to backfire on her because people are going to start to wake up and become privy to this. When you try to manipulate and control the narrative, especially in reality TV, it never goes in your favor. It always comes back to bite you in the end. And in this case, all she had to do was just write out a bad season. Write it out, hope that the audience, because you never know how the audience is even going to receive it. And it seemed like they were kind of being receptive and kind of liking her. But now that she's doing the most, I don't know. Angel's voice says, squinting and making Asian noises, that was a reach. In that case, every wrestler and boxer is racist. Exactly. Exactly. You were so good on Juicy Scoop today. Thank you, Hamilton. Kat says, I've disliked her since last year. I don't like the Heather thing, and I hate that she used Emily. Yeah, I get it. But like, look at, hello. She was saying that Heather planted fake paparazzi pictures and she like wouldn't let that go. And she's like, I know it. I have confirmation. I have confirmation. And it didn't appear that she had any sort of confirmation. And I talked about that last season. She probably talked to somebody that was like, yeah, this is typically how things work. And she was like, oh, well, that's confirmation enough for me. And she ran with it, tried to double down on it. It's crazy. April says they apologized to her and she turned around and did this. It was done. It was dead. I remember this coming up when I was in New York. I was about to I was in New York and I remember this coming up and then like it being a thing and a talking point. I think we like briefly talked about it on stage in Chicago. But like the audience didn't really seem to care. Like everybody was so over this video. But to go in the press, do an interview, and again, if you watch that interview clip back, they don't ask her about it. She volunteers the information up, which if Jen was her friend or if she was in a good place with Gretchen, she completely fucked that. I hope it was worth it. You're losing all your allies, Katie. And just because the audience may be on your side right now doesn't mean they'll stay loyal to you. Not only that, but we've seen in Housewives history, even if the audience kind of likes you, the network will probably keep you around a bit. But like they're not going to keep you on the show because you don't make sense on the show because nobody wants to film with you because you've completely isolated yourself. You've completely annihilated your relationships with everybody that you no longer make sense on the show. Look at Brandi Glanville. People used to love, like before all her drama now, but like when she was originally on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, when she got fired after what was it, season 5, and they let her go, she was one of the like the top favorite ones. She had her New York Times bestselling book, she had her wine line, she had a whole bunch of things going for her. She had just done what was it, Celebrity Apprentice, right? She did Apprentice. Like she was at the height in her career. But, and even though the audience loved her, she was, unfiltered Brandy, but she ruined her relationships with all the other women, and there was no path forward for her on the show. So if Katie thinks that this is going to help her in some way, it's not. And then you doing these manipulative little PR tricks that only then triggers people like me who are going to call you on your bullshit. I'm calling this bullshit. I think that was a fucked up thing to do to Jen and Gretchen, knowing that that was not their intention. Like you're trying to weaponize this. And then you're trying to say that the women are isolating you and you happen to be the first Asian American housewife. Like, no, we're not going to do that. That's inappropriate because now what you're doing is trying to manipulate the audience and then trying to turn yourself into some sort of victim that you're clearly not. You're not taking any accountability for your own actions. You're not having, you're not trying to work on building better relationships with these women. Instead, you're trying to look at how many times have other housewives tried to do this, where they turn themselves into the victim and they try to hijack a cultural movement, and then it just completely fucks the show altogether. It's insane. Ariana says, as a Black woman who's experienced real racism, this is so insulting to cry wolf. It's insane. Like, it's sad. It's terrible because the racism is still a real thing that is still prevalent. However, when you try to dilute it to make yourselves to earn some housewives brownie points, you lose me. I feel like after watching Hunting Wives, the Real Housewives shows are going to be so boring. I've heard Hunting Wives is so good. I'll have to watch it this weekend. I feel like it's going to be good. Just the Mess says Zack would be a great PR agent. But again, like, thank you. But like all she had to do was just kind of lay low, let the audience kind of defend her naturally, stay under the radar, don't be in anybody's ears. Because here's the thing, if there's anything we've learned too, is you can't trust the bloggers. The second you tell a blogger something, it's going to be a screenshot. They're going to try to get on the show. Like, it's all going to become a thing. It never ends well. So just don't. Don't try to plant seeds. Don't try to get ahead of the game. Don't try to do any of that stuff. Let it play out organically. The network will like you better. The other women will probably have a little more respect for you by the end of it. The fans will still be on your side because you're not trying to manipulate them. Come on. Crystal says, hello, 56 minutes behind anyone else triggered by Up and Adam's post about Lauren. I commented on that. I was not happy about that. I did not think that's cool at all. Copper Mom, I'm not Asian. No, I'm Hispanic, but not Asian. I've done all the blood tests and the 23andMe and all that stuff. And surprisingly, there was no Asian in our blood, only because people obviously think I'm Asian all the time. Yeah, I didn't like the Up and Adam TikTok post about Lauren, where he's just like, I don't know who this Lauren woman is. Like, I just thought it was rude. And it's like, if you don't know the details, then don't comment or take 5 minutes to Google search it. It's not that hard. But I didn't like that. It was very shady towards Lauren, and I was disappointed to see that. Obviously, Adam and I have had beef in the past. We've squashed the beef. We have no beef anymore, but I was disappointed to see that. Lauren is my friend, and I'm going to stand up and defend Lauren because I know Lauren's heart is in the right place. And I don't like that, obviously she became a media talking point last week, but I don't like that people are questioning, why she's filing for a protective order. It's like, all the chatter from people in the peanut gallery on the internet. If you don't know anything about the case, then shut the fuck up. Okay? Because it's also not that hard. There are plenty of TikTok videos and Instagram videos and Reddit posts and Google articles that you can read about and see, YouTuber wants a protective order. Okay, read the article. Takes 2 minutes. Read the article. It's not that hard. Doesn't take a whole lot of time. Get the facts straight before you try to drag somebody like Lauren, who is a good woman. She is a good person. She has a good heart. She came in covering this from a very good place. It's unfortunate that she got dragged into all of Blake Lively's drama. So yeah, I'm always going to defend my friends because that's just the type of person that I am. Crystal was spicy AF. I loved her. Crystal Minkoff? That's our Lauren woman, Adam. That's right. She's not just some Lauren woman. She's our Lauren woman. Period. Lauren addresses things with class. That she does. I address things with sass, and Lauren addresses them with class. I'll be like, I'll pop off on a bitch. You want to get along, or are you trying to get popped? Like Lala said. And then Ariana was like, well, I'm not trying to get popped. Lourdes, thank you for the super sticker, my love. I appreciate you. Kat says Lauren is very articulate too. Okay, Britney Spears. Remember Britney Spears like, I love the LGBT community because you guys are so articulate. May Vang says, you had me at protect my friend, period. Always. Stand on business. You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business. Lauren was on Misunderstood. Yes, that's right. All right. I think that's all I got for you. Yeah. All right, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I thought today was going to be a short episode, and then we just went on, and here we are an hour later. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to check out Juicy Scoop. Heather McDonald has got the Juicy Scoop. So tune in to Juicy Scoop. I'm on this week. Drop a comment. Tell Heather that the Zack pack is in the comments or in the, I guess there's no live chat because it's not a live stream. But drop into the comments, say Zack pack here. Let's get it. Oh, all right, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm always going to keep it 100 here every day, Monday through Friday. So if you're enjoying the show, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out and weigh in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on Denise. Let me know your thoughts on Aaron, on Katie Janella. Do you think that she is a real liar? Do you think that she's trying to manipulate you? Because I do. I think she's trying to manipulate you. And be sure to check out Daily Dose of Donna. Airs live right after me, weekday mornings. Ciao for now, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Give me a follow, Just Plain Zack, and get your tickets to this Sunday's show. I have Ask Two Lawyers, Josh Boswell from the Daily Mail, Spill Sesh, Christy Cook, Jacqueline Larita, Chloe Veach from Netflix, all going to be in the show. It's going to be fun. Donna's hopefully going to be there. Tell Donna she has to come on Sunday. I'm going to be at Dosers Live too. Stu is going to be there on Sunday, so it's going to be fun. Let's go. Let's take some shots. Let's have some drinks. Any of my friends that are there, I'll probably drag them to the VIP happy hour before the show. So if you guys can make it to the VIP happy hour before the show, that's always a good time. All right, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. MC High Life says, a little love for Zack. You and Donna are my favorite way to start my day. Yay. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for the super chat. All right, guys. Bye.